I want to quickly talk to you about Paysafe, and this is about credit card processing. I want to look at the features, the pricing, the user reviews, everything. So here's a presentation I want you to pay attention to. So when you think about Paysafe, think about a merchant services provider that supports markets primarily in the US, UK, Canada, and Europe, okay? And although it's actually known for its wide variety of payment solutions, many features are limited to Europe, meaning US businesses primarily use it as a payment service provider for credit cards. And what we love about Paysafe is that they have a flexibility, but they also have affordability. So Paysafe is an option for businesses with a high transaction volume, but not ideal for small businesses. So if you're listening to me right now and you're a small business in terms of your transactional volume, Paysafe may not be the best option for you, okay? So Paysafe's quote-only pricing might be acceptable to businesses that have high transaction volumes and are looking for more tailored fees. However, customer ratings are somewhat low in our view, and what we have seen is that the company lacks transparency in pricing and contract terms. And so small businesses that process lower transaction volumes and need business-specific software features can likely find a better option. We have a lot of options that we have researched here. And so the thing is, when you think about Paysafe, think about a provider that's really great in terms of helping you get your credit card processing done really, really fast. And remember that Paysafe is actually great for all kinds of businesses, particularly for those that are in the low risk industries, okay? And the Paysafe is actually a UK-based merchant account provider that has acquired multiple large payment processing subsidiaries during the past 5 to 10 years, okay? And the company was actually formed in 2015 as a rebranding of Optimal Payments, and it was subsequently acquired in 2017 by two private equity firms. So basically, they have great like deep money to sort of back them up. Okay, so when you think about Paysafe, think about tailored pricing. Think about the fact that you have affordability. And the only thing we don't like about Paysafe is that you have a lack of transparency. So they do not clearly explain certain features. There's a lot of information on the developer side of the company's website, but it can be difficult for the average merchant to understand how the system works without speaking to a rep. So it is what it is. And but overall, they also have limited US-based features. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. So let's talk about the cost here. So when you think about Paysafe, what kind of cost should be thinking about? Well, first of all, unlike most of its competitors, Paysafe they don't offer transparent pricing. Instead, they provide individual quotes based on several factors. And so while this structure can actually be an obstacle for some small businesses, larger businesses might find that the tailored approach offers actually a competitive rates. And because the Paysafe is entirely quote-based, what you pay likely depends on the services you need, your monthly transaction value, the average cost of individual transactions, and more. And so Paysafe advertises super competitive processing rates on its website, which means that basically they are trying to really tell you, hey, listen, they have affordable rates. The question is it true? Is it not? We were able to see that Paysafe actually have they have above average sort of processing rates, but they're not the most expensive on the market. Okay, so one thing I want to say here is that you want to do your research after speaking with the rep to determine if a contract makes financial sense for your business. Keep in mind though that you will need to sign a contract to start processing payments, and those contracts can range from monthly to 3-year agreements. So just be sure that you read all the fine prints before you actually get into any sort of agreements. Okay, so in terms of now, we were able to do some research and gather that you have cancellation penalties. In other words, you have ETFs, so early termination fees. Yes, they will charge you. And Paysafe does have a monthly and annual fees. In terms of processing rates, you are looking at 1% to 4.99%. And there is also the possibility to lease equipment through Paysafe. One thing I want to say here is that when you think about the Paysafe, you have a virtual terminal and payment gateway. So you also have industry-specific pricing. So Paysafe doesn't list any specific pricing or contract terms on its websites, but most evidence suggests that Paysafe clients will pay standard merchant account prices and a little more depending on their industry. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about Paysafe. This is the Paysafe credit card processing review. So what kind of features should you really expect if you were to go with Paysafe? Well, first of all, you have to understand Paysafe actually caters to a wide constellation of industries. That's really cool. And so some of the features that we love with Paysafe include payment processing. You have digital wallets. You have non-U.S. alternative method payments. Payment methods rather. And you also have small business loans and merchant cash advances. So this is kind of cool. So when we talk about payment processing, Paysafe supports in-person and online credit and debit card payments from most major credit card providers. As the name suggests, the company prioritizes security during checkouts with fraud prevention tools, tokenization, and a chargeback management process that ensures your business will be PCI compliant. So in addition to a general payment processing, Paysafe has industry-specific solutions for convenience stores. For instance, you have gas stations, you have digital marketing companies, regulated iGaming and online lottery services, and more. And in-store payments work with several terminals, and customers get a discount on the Clover station, which is a powerful countertop terminal. And you can also qualify for a loan program to avoid the high cost of having to buy a Clover Mini or Flex outright. And businesses can also use the Paysafe as their payment processor with Ingenico, Verifone, and Swap Simple, among others. This is kind of cool. And so basically, online payments are secure with Paysafe's secure checkout, which allows you to have customer payment information, create scheduled payments, track data on your transactions, and integrate a custom payments page onto your website with customer support to help with coding. So this is kind of cool. And recurring payments and invoicing are also supported by online payment processing. So the bottom line here is that you can see that basically when it comes to payment processing, really Paysafe is really giving you a lot of flexibility. You also have digital wallets. So Paysafe offers a digital wallet that actually stores payment methods such as credit card information and allows customers to pay contactlessly. So popular examples of digital wallets include Venmo and Samsung Pay. And Paysafe also offers digital wallet services through its subsidiaries Skrill and NetTeller. So these integrations allow your business to accept payments from users who have the Skrill or NetTeller app, which can provide an alternative payment method for users and increase your business's accessibility. So this is kind of cool. You also have a non-US alternative payment methods. This is kind of cool. Let's talk about the value added here. So when we talk about Paysafe, what kind of value added are we talking about here? Well, Paysafe actually adds a lot of value in several, I would say, processes and work streams. So Paysafe actually enables businesses to accept credit and debit card payments quickly and easily. So whether you're looking to accept payments, let's say in store, online, or on the go, for that matter, Paysafe has a solution that can meet your needs. And again, I want to insist that it doesn't matter your industry. Even though they actually work best for low risk industries. Even if you're in the medium risk or high risk industries, they might actually, review your application. And what about the payment gateway services? Well, Paysafe's payment gateway services enable businesses to accept credit card and debit cards securely and easily via their websites. And the payment gateway is fully customizable and integrates with major e-commerce platforms such as Shopify, WooCommerce, Magento, and more. So this is kind of cool. And you also have, of course, the virtual terminal services. So Paysafe's virtual terminal services allow businesses to process credit and debit card payments over the phone or via email without the need for a physical card reader. And this is ideal for businesses that don't have a storefront or need to process payments remotely. So this is kind of cool. And in terms of, so you also have mobile payment solutions. So you are able to actually accept payments on the go or using a smartphone or tablet. This is ideal for businesses that operate in remote locations or attend trade shows, farmers markets, or other events. This is kind of cool. Now, one thing I want to say here is that Paysafe also offers subscription billing services that allow businesses to set up recurring payments for their customers. And this is ideal for businesses that offer subscription-based services or needs to bill customers on a regular basis. Okay. And the cool thing here is that you have a a full suite of fraud prevention services. So you are able to reduce the risk of fraud and chargebacks. So these services include address verification, card security code CVV2. You have and fraud screening also. So this is kind of cool. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about Paysafe. This is the Paysafe credit card processing review. Let's talk about the extras here. So when you think about Paysafe, what are the extras you need to think about? Well, what we have seen here is that when you go with Paysafe, you don't have a lot of complaints. I mean, this player is relatively new in the credit card processing space, and they don't have a lot of reviews, a lot of complaints rather. So if you go online and you're looking for Paysafe's complaints sort of tally, you don't have a lot. They have fewer than 10. This is kind of cool because it just tells you that the company is highly regarded. And what we love about the Paysafe is that they are constantly improving their solution. Now, some of the complaints that we have found online were around the customer service and also pricing. So you have customer service and lack of transparency when it comes to pricing. So it's one of those reasons why, as I told you earlier, it's just a lot better to actually contact the company first before actually sending anything. And one thing I want to say here is that there is an important element to mention here is that in 2021, a class action suit was actually announced against Paysafe for investors in the company's securities. And so 2022 saw a similar suit. And you have a Kessler, Topaz, Metzler, and Check. They filed a class action lawsuit against Paysafe Limited, a payment processing company, alleging violations of federal securities laws. So the thing is that when we talk about the lawsuits and fines, we're speaking about lawsuits and fines that were not related to the credit card processing side of things, but other areas. Okay, but it's also important to understand that you are going to deal with a company that's currently party to litigation. So it's one of those things where if it matters to you, then you might want to back off. If you don't really care about what's really going on because it's not really that serious, then you can proceed and actually have a contract with Paysafe. I just wanted to mention that. Now, one thing I want to say here is that in terms of scalability, you can scale pretty easily with Paysafe, not a problem. In other words, if you start with a low transactional volume for credit card processing, and over time your transactional volume goes up, you can actually rely on Paysafe to actually help you in that regard because they do have the infrastructure, they have the software, the hardware to sort of help you scale. So what are the rivals here? So when you think about Paysafe, do we have other players in this industry? Yes, we have a lot. So we have, for instance, you have Square P.O.S, you have Shopify P.O.S, and you also have you have a lot of other players. One thing I want to say is that let's quickly go through let's go through Square P.O.S and Shopify P.O.S. So when you think about Square P.O.S, the pricing is kind of interesting. You have 2.6% plus 10 cents for in-person transactions. You have 2.9% plus 30 cents for online transactions. You have 3.5% plus 15 cents for manually keyed transactions. And you have 3.3% plus 30 cents for invoices. So Square actually doesn't offer an alternative to every Paysafe tool, but it is a straightforward and transparent service that can work for small business payment processing. And Square also sells the hardware you need to accept magstripe, chip, and contactless payments. And Square also offers Tap to Pay on iPhone, which lets merchants accept credit card payments using only a regular iPhone with the Square POS app. And if you need a digital wallet, Square Cash can work in conjunction with your POS to add payments to the mix. So essentially, you get fewer payment options, but a more reputable service. It's all about if you like. It really depends on what you're going after. Are you going after reputation, or are you going after efficiency, or even affordability? What about Shopify POS? Well, with Shopify POS, you have a 2.4%, 2.6%, or 2.9% plus 30 cents for online payments for advanced, Shopify, or basic plan, respectively. You have a 2.4%, 2.5%, or 2.7% for in-person payments for advanced, Shopify, or basic plan, respectively. So if you're looking for a merchant services provider that gives you a POS, payment processing, and a hosted website, consider Shopify POS. Starting at about $29 to $34 per month, you'll get all the earlier mentioned the features plus a payment processing fee. And Shopify is also scalable, allowing you to pay higher monthly fees to facilitate more sales while receiving lower processing fees. So this is kind of cool in terms of helping you charter a strong foundation for the long run. So this is really cool. So what is our verdict here? Is basically Paysafe worth it? Yes. Our answer is really yes. Paysafe is worth it. Paysafe is safe. And so Paysafe rates are a fairly standard credit card processing business model. And so Paysafe Group itself is more of a parent corporation managed by equity firms than an actual payment processor. So the quality of its products and services will vary according to the policies of its subsidiaries across the globe. In general, the various Paysafe sub-brands have established their own industry reputations, ranging from average to below average. And so clients are therefore more likely to have a better experience through a top-rated merchant account provider such as Square or Shopify, for instance. Okay, but the bottom line here is that if you love the way Paysafe actually onboards you real fast, then you will love you'll love their services. Remember that when we talk about Paysafe, we're talking about what? Payment card processing, check processing and ACH payments, in-store payments, online payments, mail phone order payments, mobile payments. You also have gift and loyalty cards. You have merchant account advance. So it's one of those things where if you need working capital and fast, Paysafe says it can offer you $10,000 to $2 million with a merchant cash advance. So while offers like this may sound tempting, they can cost your business a lot of cash. Okay, so it's worth looking into other options before agreeing to an MCA. So merchant cash advance. One thing I want to say here is that basically, if you are trying to really get equipment through Paysafe, this might be a little complicated because Paysafe doesn't list exact equipment options, but it can provide standard terminals, credit check readers. You have point of sale software systems and wireless terminals. And the company also mentions a free terminal deal. So just be aware that offers like this are often paired with the higher rates and fees, making the free terminal a very costly proposition. So it's one of those things where you have to really be very careful. Leasing equipment is also an option, but one that is best avoided and for similar reasons. So leasing equipment is extremely costly and usually comes with its own binding contract. So be very careful here. Bottom line here is that do your research first and understand what your needs are before reaching out to Paysafe. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about a Paysafe credit card processing review. And so I gave you let's do a recap here. I gave you the presentation, the cost, the features, the value added, the extras, the rivals, and the verdict. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.